Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wrestling Observer Live here on Monday, April 20th, 2026. Good Lord, it has been a long week, and we will be here with you 7 days a week, as always, Monday through Friday on this show, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, with myself, Bryan Alvarez, Lance Storm, usually. Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern with Andrew Zarian, and Saturday mornings with Jim Valley at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 Eastern. We are coming off of WrestleMania weekend, which as always is the absolute busiest, most mind-blowing, earth-shattering, tiring weekend of the year for wrestlers, wrestling fans, and we will try to get into as much of that as we can today. My plan is to talk about, well, the big WrestleMania shows that took place over the weekend. Of course, WrestleMania Night 1, Night 2, here in Las Vegas, right down the street at Allegiant Stadium. Over, I believe, 105,000 fans attended over the two nights. That's not counting all of the independent shows that took place, whether it was GCW, whether it was the worst show of Mania weekend, whether it was Action Wrestling. I mean, I can't even tell you how many shows went on over the weekend. Probably, well, I could find out and tell you, but I'm not going to do the due diligence because we probably don't have time to talk about all of them anyways. But we have a new champion on top of the WWE. Perhaps we are going back to the glory days. Does wrestling need to be saved? Was it saved? Stay with me for the rest of Wrestling Observer Live, and we will find out.
We did, in fact, by popular demand, watch Ready to Rumble.
The champion is some fat loser.
Yeah, he's a completely talentless, no athletic ability, can't wrestle, broke bum that walked out on his wife and kid.
But he was
he's
over.
The world champion.
He
and
was.
In the movie, the
well, yeah, but
storyline
that's a microcosm of wrestling, sadly.
Yes.
He feels so bad about drinking this entire slushy that cost $1.26, and he sticks his finger in his asshole and walks up to the clerk.
Lance is dying. How could the movie be so bad?
I'm not going to fault the man for that, of all the things in the movie.
I thought for sure you were going to say you'd done this before.
There's a reason I'm not going to fault the man for that.
I just think with all the porta potties and farting in this, that I think Vince McMahon was a secret producer on this film. Had to have been.
So then we get the Shermanator. He's played a WCW arcade game. He uses some internet sleuthing to find the personal information of Jimmy King.
He's searching the internet. Can find out anything on here. This movie was so antiquated. Every Nitro Girl is in a Nitro Girl outfit, except for this girl. They had her dance in something totally different.
Brian, like the captain.
So we're so stupid. I got it.
Captain
Yes,
Stavin?
if you're watching this film, you're that stupid. I'm sorry.
But I was also insulted by the fact they hired Michael Buffer to announce the Royal Bash, the fake-ass Royal Bash.
$24 million budget.
Wow.
And probably $500,000 of that went to Michael Buffer. It made 12. You know, we should mention this cage match is the triple-decker Cage of Doom. Everybody buried it. It was horrible. Everybody hated it. And so they decided to make a movie. And what is the final battle? It's another goddamn triple-decker cage match. This would be like in 2010 if like TNA made a movie and the final match was a reverse battle royal.
They throw powder in someone's face, DDP's I think, or somebody's, and the dude just looks and goes, "It doesn't work." And it's like, of course, because wrestling's fake and stupid.
Should we just end it there? What a soundbite. There has never been a movie I have watched in my entire life which has made me hate myself more.
Wow.
I'm ashamed that I'm even in the place at 41 years old where I would end up reviewing this movie for money. I would have thought I would have made it out of here by now. You know what I mean? I'm done.
Well, everyone, hopefully we can do this again someday. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe.
Wrestling Observer Live back here on the air. Filthy Tom Lawler holding down the fort solo today. And I'm going to get right into WrestleMania results, WrestleMania review from night 1 and night 2, because I'm not sure if we'll even have time to get through all of it. If I do, I'll take a little bit of time to talk about what went on over the weekend that I did, what I saw, what I witnessed. There are multiple podcasts up on the main site, the Wrestling Observer Figure 4 wrestling site, covering some of those events. Of course, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport CMLL, the worst show all Mania week, which Brian and Vinny did a full review of on their Q&A from the Circa, and there's quite a few discrepancies with what they said happened, especially regarding myself, that I will clear up later on in the week when Brian is here to lie when he tries to defend himself. Joey Janela's spring break. There's Brian probably talks about his appearance in the Immortal Cluster on Saturday night, where he defeated Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful, super kicked him right out of his boots and pinned him. But I've already spent too much time talking about this. Brian was, I think, eliminated by Shotzi like right away. So thank Lord he's not going to be able to put himself over too hard. But let's get right into WrestleMania Night 1 now. This show and both nights, obviously coming to us from Allegiant Stadium, right down the street, 15 minutes away, but I dare not go in that direction during the time these events are going on. It's like a no man's land for me. I wanted nothing to do with sitting, and I checked tickets actually Saturday. When I say I wanted nothing to do with it, that's a lie. I wanted nothing to do with it for the prices that you could get in for. I checked on Saturday morning, and I believe tickets were down to, like, for pretty decent seats, about $150 per person. But, I mean, just not doing it. It's too much, too little, too late. But I watched on the old television screen, as I'm sure many others did, and many others who were here in Vegas partying watched from those same screens at pools and viewing parties across the valley. The show opened up with a simulcast on ESPN2, because these lowly jobbers on night 1 can't even get on main ESPN. I'm surprised they didn't stick some of these matches on the Ocho, but it opened up on ESPN2 with LA Knight and the Usos taking on ISO Speed and Logan Paul and Austin Theory of the Vision. Paul and Theory, your current tag team champions. The only tag titles defended on WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 are the women's tag belts, which were like much maligned for a long time until they just started throwing teams together and putting them in a multi-team feud leading to this WrestleMania. But the men's tag champs on this brand in a 6-man, and the SmackDown tag champs, well, they're still relegated to SmackDown. So this match took 7 minutes out of your television time. Speed, who weeks ago wanted nothing to do with this match at all, was forced into it. He tried to avoid the BFT. He pushed Knight into Logan Paul, who was on the apron. Theory started berating poor ISHO Speed, and Knight pushed Theory into Speed, hit Theory with the BFT, won the match. Afterwards, the heels blamed ISHO Speed. Paul punched him out. And then, of course, the Usos and LA Knight, who wanted nothing to do with ISHO Speed for weeks and weeks and weeks, have hated him, chased him around, beat him up. They saw him get punched, and they said, man, we got to save this guy. So they got in there. They gave Logan Paul a 1D. They laid him out on the announce desk so that ISHO Speed could fly off the post with a splash, take out Paul, get millions, perhaps billions of social media hits throughout all of the avenues. And that was the end of this segment. Speed, as far as celebrity guests go, I like Speed. He has this uncanny ability to make it look like he's constantly on the verge of tears, being confused or angry. So, like this Speed. Fatu then took on Drew McIntyre in the main event of the ESPN2 portion. This was under street fight rules. These guys worked really hard, pounded on each other with foreign objects. They used wrenches. They broke out the toolbox. So there was multiple foreign objects they could break out there. Anything that they could get their hands on. At one point, Fatu was on the top. He was thrown off the top, through a table on the floor. It looked brutal. He also, at one point, hit the mighty moonsault, which I have to say is a great move. Not the biggest fan of the fact that we have Tiffany Stratton and Fatu. You know, there's like 100 people on this roster, but they both have the same finishing move, and they're on the same brand. But Fatu needs a better name for this moonsault. The mighty moonsault. It just does not fit this hardened street criminal, as some would call him. But he hit this mighty moonsault through a table and put away Drew McIntyre in 14 minutes and 9 seconds to win. This is one of the better matches of night one. Perhaps I would think the second best match as I look at the results. Maybe the third. But we had the women's four-way tag title match. The Irresistible Forces, your champions, Nia Jax, Lash Legend, defended the titles against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, Lyra Valkyria and Bayley, and the Bella Twins. Or so we thought, because weeks ago, Nikki Bella was injured during a brawl on Raw. It may have been on SmackDown. It was on one of the two major shows. And she was injured during a brawl, and the thought was maybe she will be able to recover and make it to this match. But she had some sort of ankle surgery. She came out on crutches. So Brie said, look, we have a replacement. I called up one of my old friends, and Nikki Bella's replacement turned out to be the returning Paige, who got a huge reaction from the crowd. WrestleMania always loves to have these big surprises, and they got one here. Always like a big fly-in crowd. Many fans from the UK, I'm sure, were there, so they got their fix as one of their own was the big return. At one point during the match, the baby faces, I believe they're baby faces, the Bella Twins, Nikki Bella was on the outside, and she took her crutch and started whacking Charlotte right in front of the ref. But, you know, of course, it's a multi-person match, so you can't DQ anybody. So the referee just stands there. Nikki beats her with the crutch. Alexa Bliss goes for the Twisted Bliss. Paige gets her knees up, hits the Paige Turner, and gets the win. So Paige and Brie Bella, in the year of your Lord 2026, are the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. So 8 people in this match, 8 minutes for the match, and that seemed to kind of be the theme of WrestleMania Night 1, was a lot of commercials and some very little match time in the way of what went on in the ring. And what followed this up was another match that was about 8 minutes long. That's Becky Lynch taking on AJ Lee, refereed by Jessica Carr. This is for the Intercontinental Championship on the women's side. Becky and Carr were pretty much the story of the match the entire time. They've been feuding since I believe, this summer, maybe even before SummerSlam. The announcers were making the point that despite all of these repeated issues, the officials' assignments were given, and Jessica Carr was indeed on assignment for this matchup. At one point, Lynch ripped off the turnbuckle, and her and Jessica Carr, of course, got into it, as that's illegal. Jessica Carr's like, "Are you insane?" Which, at some points, yeah, Becky Lynch absolutely is insane. So AJ Lee charged Becky in the corner. Lynch pulled Carr in the way. AJ stopped short like she was Kramer with a woman in the passenger seat, but was thrown headfirst into the exposed steel. Becky Lynch hit the manhandle slam, and Becky Lynch is your three-time WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion. We'll be back to follow up with Night 1 and Night 2 after the break.
Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Well, we reviewed SmackDown yesterday, Tom, and you don't even get SmackDown. You're very, just, you know how you are. Fine. Whatever. I don't care. Whatever.
That's your impression of me?
Yeah, that's my impression of you.
Wow.
So what are we, at least, I hope you at least watch a SmackDown main event.
I watched the entire show.
Okay, because there's a lot of people that still like your review, Tom.
I went on the board, and I saw like 2 people.
Yeah, do you go on Twitter?
Yeah, I do go on Twitter,
You read my emails?
I do go on
the
Twitter.
Text messages? I mean...
Do you go on Twitter? Because if you do,
yes.
You would have seen one of the greatest moments in world history.
In world history, really.
World history. Frank Tate walked away the victor of the fight, but he walked away an even bigger winner when it comes to life. This man completed what I would say is the best high five, the best dap up in the history of the galaxy. This man had his dog. And when I say dog,
barely a dog.
I mean D-O-G and D-A-W-G. This was a dog, baby. The dog was so proud. You can see just the elation in that dog's face. He threw that paw up. He let it hang for a few moments, and then he brought it down for the dap.
Tom's not even doing this justice. Everyone has seen a dog, like you put your hand out and the dog like puts his paw up to shake hands. This freaking dog goes, ah, hapa! Like, what? That was more than a high five. I don't even know what you would even term that. He dunked. He dunked that man.
30 million views on this clip. And that is about 1/10 of what it should have. So if you haven't seen it, you deserve it. Treat yourself. Go to my Twitter. Watch Frank Tate high five his dog.
No, he did not high five his dog.
The dog high fived him.
His dog high fived him. Yes. He just wanted like a, just boom. And this dog was like, no way, brother. You knock that man out. I'm going to give you a big time dunking high five from way up high. You go high five, up high, down low, too slow. This was an up high. Guy should have pulled his hand away.
It's the best thing you've ever seen.
Man, too slow, Joe. Yeah, it was pretty good. Not going to lie. I liked it.
Observer Live, Filthy Tom Lawler back on the air with you. I am only halfway through WrestleMania Night 1, and we are like almost halfway through the show. I don't even know. I am operating on limited bandwidth after the long weekend that I had, and I don't even want to get into it. It's very disappointing in some ways, and perhaps I'll talk about it later on in the show if I have time. Perhaps it'll have to wait until I make my weekly other appearance, but we'll see. So Gunther took on Seth Rollins in, up to this point, which was the best match of WrestleMania for sure, I would say. These two fought outside the ring before the bell even rang, with Rollins ragdolling Gunther all around the ring desks. He started pelting Gunther with chairs from the audience. Then they stared at each other from opposite sides of the ring. Seth gave him the double birds. They started fighting again to begin the match. Speaking of the double birds, I was on the call for Bloodsport this past weekend. The final Bloodsport, the ultimate Bloodsport. And, Stone Cold was there. That's what I was trying to get at. Speaking of the double birds, he was standing right in front of me watching the whole time. But Seth and Gunther were cooking, man. Seth hit the buckle bomb early, pedigree, a stomp for a near fall later on. The crowd was chanting how awesome this was. And if you're there on night one and you're watching this up to this point, this was like an A1 Wagyu when you've been eating Alpo. So I agree. They should have been chanting, "This is awesome." Gunther locked on the sleeper. Seth got out, hit some forearms, a superplex into the Falcon Arrow. Gunther kicked out. Seth locked a sleeper on again, and the crowd went absolutely crazy, hoping that Seth Rollins, who's never won with a sleeper in his life, however, they have gotten this spot over against Gunther. It's amazing that one of Gunther's major near fall spots is him being put into the sleeper as a counter, but Gunther did not tap out. He got out. Seth dove onto him on the floor. Gunther eventually caught him, powerbombed him on the apron. Tried for another one on the table, but Seth gave him a pedigree, leapt off one table onto the other, cracked Gunther's formidable forehead off the table with a stomp, and then Braun Breaker ran down, speared Rollins ringside, tossed him in the ring. Gunther locked on the sleeper, trapped one of the arms, and he put Seth Rollins to sleep. Then, after the match, Breaker ran down the aisleway once again, kind of speared Seth Rollins, kind of just dove in the air, did a flip, and then he embraced with Paul Heyman on the ramp afterwards. And this match, 17 minutes, 52 seconds. Awesome. But now, Paul Heyman owes Gunther big time. He owes him, I don't even know what. I was under the impression that Gunther would be asking for a match with the Beast, but as we will get to later on, I don't think we're going that direction. So Liv Morgan then defeated Stephanie Vaquer for the women's title. I was looking at, doing some brushing up earlier on these matches, and like the WWE YouTube, which has, you can go on the WWE YouTube and watch a highlight of all of the full entrances from WrestleMania. Over 30 minutes you can watch of entrances they have up there. Also, apparently, I didn't do the math, but I saw on Twitter, which, hey, you can always rely on, but between the two nights of WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2, I think over 38 minutes of footage of the upcoming Hulk Hogan documentary over both nights. So, anyways, Liv Morgan won this match. The YouTube didn't even have any highlights for it. Didn't mention it. Liv did her full song and dance for her entrance for her new single Trouble. And they had 6 minutes, 51 seconds. Stephanie did her Devil's Kiss. They each hit their other person's finishers. The Judgment Day ran down with Roxanne. Gave her a distraction. Raquel knocked Stephanie off the top. Liv hit the Oblivion, but only got a 2. She missed a dive and hit Raquel on the floor. Stephanie did a crossbody to them on the floor. Springboard crossbody. It was great from inside the ring to the outside. Then Liv threw her into the steps, hit a code breaker off the second, Oblivion, and got the win. There is trouble in the women's division as Liv Morgan from the Judgment Day is the new champion. Dom Mysterio came to the ring, celebrated post-match with her. We then had John Cena in a great segment. he made the official attendance announcement for tonight's show, night one, at 50,816 people. And, looking at it, this may have been the best thing on night one. He then was interrupted by fireworks, and instead of this being the end of the segment, he welcomed Bianca Belair to the ring, and the EST danced her way down, twirled her braid, got in the ring, pulled back her robe, revealed her belly, and said, "We need to add one more to the attendance list because she is pregnant." This was great. John Cena said, "Thank you for allowing the WWE family to join your family in celebration of the youngest WWE superstar in history." And the new attendance, 50,817 for night one. I didn't see the commercial for that one, but perhaps it was sponsored by one of our sponsors on this show, the Blue Pill. Maybe it was Steel Man. Who knows? We got quite a few. Then in the main event, Cody Rhodes took on Randy Orton. This was weird. This is a weird match. Just the way it was laid out leading up to it. You have Randy Orton, who's clearly being cheered by the fans as the babyface. They want him to win. They insert Pat McAfee on his side as somebody who was like a mystery man, the higher power for Randy Orton, telling him that he's not, there's more than one royal family in wrestling. So Randy Orton apparently listening to only one man, and that was Pat McAfee. The entire thing was bizarre. But Pat McAfee has been a heat magnet for Randy Orton over the past few weeks. He's also been now feuding with Jelly Roll, who was one of the only people that Orton was listening to before, but also was a friend of Cody Rhodes. So we got all these celebrities, I guess, involved in this match. And before it even begins, we get some more celebrity action as Jelly Roll comes out, puts Pat McAfee through a table at ringside. So after all that, after all the build, Jelly Roll, Pat McAfee, see you later. They're out of the equation for the match after this last month, which I'm not complaining, believe me. So they went the entire match with Cody essentially working as the heel and being booed, while Orton sold what was rumored to be a back injury and gathered sympathy from the crowd. This match was not bad, but it's so bizarre to watch because Cody clearly is supposed to be a babyface, like in the eyes of the company, but the crowd clearly does not want him, or they do not want to cheer him, at least against Randy Orton. But they also, they don't want to boo him in all the situations. So towards the finish, after some signature moves from both guys, there was a great RKO counter to Cody coming off the top with a Cody cutter. Cody poked Randy in the eyes, and Orton grabs the referee, Charles Robinson, and hits an RKO because I guess he was blinded. But it's like Charles Robinson was behind him. Cody Rhodes was in front of him. So did he think Cody Rhodes teleported like Danhausen and was suddenly behind him? Did he not realize that Charles Robinson is, a foot shorter than Cody Rhodes and probably 70 pounds less? Regardless, he gives him an RKO. Then Pat McAfee runs down in a neck brace and a ref shirt. We never found out if this was official, but he gets to the count, and they act like Pat McAfee is a real referee, a licensed ref. He counts 1. He counts 2. But Cody kicks out. So then Randy looks around, grabs Pat McAfee, and gives him an RKO. What? Then Cody grabs Randy Orton from behind. He delivers the crossroads. He gets the win. He retains the belt. The crowd cheers for him as he wins and defeats the man they were cheering for the whole time. Afterwards, Cody celebrates for a little bit. Randy beats him up, punts Cody in the face. And no joke, I don't know if it's from this, but Cody now has a broken orbital bone. They had to schedule what was his $10,000 a ticket bus tour the next day for the poor souls who had purchased such a thing. This was amazing to watch on many levels. A good match, I guess, but 2 years in a row now, 2 years in a row, these celebrities from out of nowhere have been the bane of existence for Cody Rhodes in the main events. Hey, we'll be back to cover night 2 after the break. Wrestling Observer Live.
Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful.
Happy birthday, dear Granny.
Happy birthday, Granny. Happy 95th birthday.
Thank you.
You got balloons behind you as well, Vinny. People can't really see them.
No.
They think it might just be your hump. But it's very festive
I
day
should not
today.
laugh at that. That's a horrible insult that you just gave
Yeah,
me.
you laughed. It was a good one.
But it was funny.
Happy birthday!
Okay.
Happy birthday, Granny!
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, I don't even know what you just said. Okay, go.
Bye, girls. Close the door, please. Rob Wanska, a top fan. That granny is one of a kind. If you cannot see that, you're blind. Whether she's knitting a quilt or giving Brian some guilt, she's the greatest old gal that you'll find.
Was that, who was that?
Producer
That was
Rob.
Rob.
Producer Rob?
Yeah.
Fine
like
job,
that.
Rob.
He has talent?
Thank you,
Great.
Rob.
Wow.
This is Mariah May versus Anna J. Anna has a problem. Her top seems to want to drop down. She has to keep pulling it up. Mariah pins Anna for the win. I think Anna just gave up due to the fact that her wardrobe was malfunctioning.
That's what happened?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, if they wore decent clothes, it'd be better.
Hmm.
Those T-straps are ridiculous.
Those what?
T-straps. Don't you know what a T-strap is?
No, I do not know what a T-strap
I don't think
is.
there's a T-strap in Brian's closet, Granny.
No.
I don't know.
T-strap. Oh, a thong? Why don't you say a thong?
A what?
Never mind. You don't know what a thong is?
No.
Why are we having this conversation?
What part of the body is it on?
Does it go on the
woman.
top or the bottom?
On your
Butt?
butt. Yep.
Okay.
Granny had to be very careful. So it's a thong.
Why are we having this conversation?
According to the Old Testament of the Bible, who is the father of both Isaac and Ishmael?
Job.
Abraham.
Wrong.
Oh, really?
Abraham.
I just...
Did you say that?
Yes, he
I'm so-
did.
Yeah, I,
Oh, okay. You're right.
Yeah.
I just didn't hear you.
Well, Granny, I hope you had a happy birthday today.
I had to.
Hey, we got a special present for you. You are officially being inducted, yes, into the Hall of Awesome.
it's about time.
Yes. You know what that is,
Oh,
Granny?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I want everybody to see this. How can I show it?
Clearly, Granny is really excited about being inducted into the Hall of Awesome. She's busy showing off her trophy.
Is that an old gray mare trophy?
It's got a horse on it for some reason.
Wrestling Observer Live, back on the air. Filthy Tom Lawler in charge today, like Large Marge. And following up on the main event of WrestleMania Night 1, where Cody Rhodes defeated Randy Orton, I'd like to get into some comments that Randy Orton's old muse, Pat McAfee, made today on his show. Pat McAfee did a show, I believe he was in a neck brace the entire time on ESPN. He said, "The good news is the business doesn't need to be saved after all. Good for them. Good for me. I finished my story." I didn't know he was writing one. But, hey, I guess if you're going to be the next Sylvester Stallone, you got to start writing a ton of stories. So He said, I came up in the Indies, IWA East Coast. I went through developmental, NXT. I was a wrestler trained by Rip Rogers, the same guy that trained everybody that's retiring kind of currently. He said, I can't do that voice anymore. Got the WWE, commentated, lucky to do that. Did pre-shows, lucky to do that. Wrestled, lucky to do that. Reffed, lucky to do that. Managed, lucky to do that. It's been a hell of a run. Thank you, wrestling. It was an honor to be over there. So, sounds like he's done. Said the wrestling business just kind of rearview mirror. And to the wrestling business, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, I mean, I guess if that really is the end of Pat McAfee, I would like to also thank him because I think he's done in some ways, he did too much over the past few years. Some would say overexposed himself across a ton of media outlets, but, especially in his initial run in WWE before he was everywhere doing everything, I thought he was awesome and added a ton of energy, a ton of excitement. But, over the past year or so, and he's admittedly said it in some interviews, the business passed him by in some ways. But sounds like he's gone. So hopefully, we're going to see more Pat McAfee, even if it's not in the WWE, because he's going to be on your TV screens. TKO, figurehead, the man in charge, the boss with all the money. Ari Emanuel wants to make him an even bigger star than he already is. So you're going to see Pat McAfee around, but perhaps not in the WWE. A man you are going to be seeing a ton of, hopefully, in the WWE over the next decade or two. Started off night 1, ironically, night 2. And that man is the ruler, Oba Femi. Oba Femi made a huge splash here. Not his first matches, obviously, on the main roster, but his first... Well, he had that showcase match against Cody Rhodes that went to a no contest. But this is, despite him facing the champion, then this is just bigger. This has been built up so well over the past few months. This, I think, was the match that most of the people were most excited to see coming into it. And we got pretty much what I expected. I didn't think we'd get a long, drawn-out match. Oba Femi, I haven't even mentioned who Oba Femi wrestled. This is Oba Femi versus the Beast, Brock Lesnar. Two irresistible forces, immovable objects, absolute monsters. This was sub 5 minutes, big move after big move, but each man, it wasn't like they no-sold. They each had their turns to show their dominance, and the other guy was like a wounded monster. However, they were able to come back. Brock caught Oba charging him in the corner, delivered an F5. Oba took him a second, but he got up to a knee. He built up a little bit more strength, stood up to his feet. Brock, kind of shocked as he turned around, approached Oba, who grasped Brock the Beast right by the goozle, right by the throat, lifted him high in the air, choke slammed Brock Lesnar, and then hoisted him high up in the air, pop-up powerbomb, fall from grace. Oba Femi pins Brock Lesnar. And like I said, you are going to see huge things from Oba Femi over the next decade, I hope at least. But one man I don't think we're going to see anything out of again. In a shocker, Brock Lesnar, after the match, sits there and he looks around. He's thinking. He starts unwrapping his gloves. And I've been there. I've been in this very situation. Not in the wrestling ring, but retiring from a sport, retiring from MMA a few years ago, not telling anybody. He starts undoing his gloves, and you can see it hits him then. He starts crying. And it's like, we've never seen this out of Brock Lesnar, but he is starting to tear up. He's also laughing, trying to laugh it off. The crowd is oohing, eyeing. They are in shock at what they're seeing. And as Brock takes off his gloves, lays them in the center of the ring, he takes off his boots, he lays them in the center of the ring. He salutes the crowd. They are chanting, "Thank you, Brock." Paul Heyman gives him this long look, kind of confusion. Brock Lesnar, he throws up the X with his arms. He and Paul Heyman hug. They embrace for a long time in the center of the ring. And it appears that we have lost the Beast, Brock Lesnar. The Beast has been slayed right in front of us and has chosen to walk away from the business. So, listen, I don't think we're going to see Brock again. If this was a work, these guys are fantastic workers. Brock, one of the best ever. Regardless if this is a work or not, either way, Brock is a fantastic professional wrestler that we've watched over the past 20 years. I don't think he gets the credit from some people for being so good at working as he is. And yeah, I mean, this shocked me. I thought we were going to get Gunther asking Paul Heyman for a match with Brock and then eventually retiring, but hey, I guess this man always goes out on his own accord, and he did so here. His daughter, big-time shot-put superstar, and Brock passed the torch to another shot-putter in Obafemi, the ruler, the big star, I think, of WrestleMania. Then we had Penta winning the Intercontinental ladder match. This was fantastic. Unlike most ladder matches, they did a great job of doing what I thought were relatively safe in the grand scheme of things spots. These were impressive, but not death-defying. We didn't have guys taking spills over the top to the outside multiple times through ladders, through tables. But this was well put together. One of my favorite ladder matches, actually, because it was a little bit different than the standard that we've seen so often over the past 20 years with just car crash after car crash. But Ray put Rusev through a ladder with an elevated seated splash over the ropes to the floor. Javon hit an OG cutter on Rusev that pulled him off a ladder. J.D. McDonough was great. He took a sick Mexican destroyer off a ladder, through another ladder by Penta. And at the finish, Javon Evans looked like he was going to be alone to scale the ladder. He gets in the ring as it was cleared out, but Penta runs in, leaps off the ladder right into a Mexican destroyer. The ring is cleared. This is a lot different than what you usually see with two guys fighting up top. Somebody takes a big bump and they climb up. This was Penta with the sky open above him. He walks right up that ladder. He ascends to the heavens and grabs his Intercontinental Championship, pulls it down, and retains the belt. Fantastic 15 minutes of wrestling. And if you want to get new fans on ESPN and pull them into possibly purchasing ESPN Unlimited, which I don't know how many people don't have ESPN Unlimited at this point, but if you didn't and you watch Brock Lesnar lose to Obafemi and then retire and then you see the action in this ladder match, I mean, it can't get much better from what they presented here on night 2 on ESPN. We then had Trick Williams defeat Sami Zayn like everyone expected for the U.S. title. Lil Yachty was with Trick, who had an enormously long entrance coat. Yachty, one of my favorite recent celebrities, doesn't try to get himself over most of the time, gets beat up. He was checking on Trick during the match, and Sami jumps him, throws him into the barricade. Sami played the total heel here, gives Trick a brainbuster on the apron, almost tries to get the count out. Gives him a haluva kick on the floor. The crowd's booing the gingerbread man, Sami Zayn. He lines up for another haluva kick as Trick got in the ring, but the ref was with Trick. Yachty necks Sami on the rope. Trick hits the spinning boot, lines up for the Trick knee, but Sami actually stops him. So Little Yachty's interference, this is why I love Little Yachty. His interference didn't even leave directly to the finish. He's not even an effective enough celebrity to affect the outcome of the match in a major way. Sami Zayn stops Trick, gives him the exploder in the corner, lines up for the haluva kick, but Trick meets him with an exposed Trick knee shot, wins the Intercontinental title. 7 minutes, celebrates with his family afterwards. Hey, got Trick over. Demon Finn Balor took on Rey Mysterio. This was a good match. A feud we thought would culminate last WrestleMania carries all the way through to this one under street fight rules. They beat each other up with a ton of objects. Dom tried a 619 with a chair around Balor's neck, but Balor got away, battered him with it, wrapped him in the chair, delivered a shotgun dropkick into the corner. Coup de grace for the win through a table. Demon Finn Balor finally, we've been waiting forever, defeats Dominic Mysterio. We had priority pass VIP guest Adam Weitzman, who is a recycling billionaire from New York, sitting ringside, said 0 words. He paid thousands and thousands of dollars to be at commentary, said 0 words, smiled like a Cheshire cat who was just got done eating excrement. And he was ringside for this Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill match. Probably the best Jade Cargill match I ever saw. B-Fab and Mission interfered repeatedly. Jade hit a one-winged angel. Then Mission and B-Fab were cornering Rhea on the floor, but Io Sky ran down, took them both out, gave them both a moonsault. Rhea went for the Riptide. Jade got out, hit a pump kick, went for Jaded, but Rhea countered, hit the Riptide, won the women's title. We then had John Cena, the host, come out. And for once, we could see him both nights. He announced the attendance as 55,255 for night 2. He was cut off by The Miz and Kit Wilson. The Miz said last year he never got his WrestleMania moment, and he's not going to leave tonight until he gets it. So Cena's like, you know what? We got some history. Fine. That's cool. Shakes hands with The Miz. Pretends he doesn't know who Kit Wilson is. Maybe he actually doesn't. Danhausen, of course, then interrupts. He rides to the ring on a convertible hearse. He has a number of little people in Danhausen garb. Shakes Cena's hand. Miz says, if we wanted to see a circus, we wanted to see the Wizard of Oz, we would have gone down the street to the Sphere. The crowd boos. Kit Wilson then pushes one of the poor little people down to the ground. Danhausen then instructs them to go after him. One of the little people punches Kit in the genitals. They swarm him, beat him up. Danhausen then punches Miz in the groin, gives him a 2-finger eye poke Shufflehausen. And we will come back in the final segment of Wrestling Observer Live with the final segment of WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. Join us after the break.
Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Granny, how are you feeling?
I'm good. Set up an exercise program.
What kind of exercises are you doing?
Well, for one thing, just sitting.
I got that one down. Sounds like my exercise program.
Your exercise is just sitting.
Who was the most inspiring person you have ever met?
Granny of late.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
I got nothing better.
I'll have to say myself.
Okay.
What's the best part about having a massive heart attack?
Not dying, I guess.
There you go. Good answer.
Jeez, what a question.
Which vegetable would you send to outer space for aliens to try?
Broccoli.
How do you have that so quickly?
Ridiculously fast answer.
You've thought about this before.
It was at WrestleMania, the one in Phoenix. I can't remember which one.
I gotta go. I have to sneeze.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, bye, Granny. Granny laid on the guilt trip to end all guilt trips. Sorry, I wrote. Forgot we going 30 minutes late. And then you began. Gee, thanks. 30 minutes late. Was not told. Aggravating. I guess my time doesn't mean anything. Jeez.
Wow.
Golly. You happy, Granny? You made me so angry. You're over there snickering, laughing at what you've done. God.
Good.
You're going to have a heart attack.
Anything
like
else?
Granny.
Yeah.
Goody.
Goody goody, she says. The news of you having a
What
Cardiac
medication
arrest.
did they give you? To make the heart blacker? You enjoying yourself, quietly giggling over there? All right, Granny. What have you got today?
Nothing.
All right, we'll see you later.
You better have something after all that.
Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley just recently.
That's the date.
You told me that you watched CM Punk and Drew and didn't watch any more of the show, but this was on the show.
I know. I watched this one because I wanted to see what happened with Dominic. In which Midwestern city did rapper Eminem grow up?
Detroit.
Eminem?
8 Mile.
Okay, we had a new segment. Granny reads rapper names. That's
I'm an M.
I am an M.
Eminem.
Yep.
Eminem.
Ryan Adams covered an entire Taylor Swift album. What is the name of that album?
Ryan
1989.
Yeah.
That's the right answer, dum-dum.
Excuse me.
Okay, now I'll quit picking on Brian and go away.
Thanks, Granny.
Wrestling Observer Live back here with you in the final segment, and still I could talk about this match for much more than the 2.5 minutes that I'm provided with, because Roman Reigns and CM Punk in the main event of night 2 of WrestleMania had a epic match, is what I would call it. This was your traditional main event WWE style match that we have seen over the past, I would say, 20 or so years. Kickouts of finishers, a lot of big drawn out spots. There was no interference by anybody not in the match. There were, I would say, they kept the shenanigans to somewhat of a minimum. The ref let a ton go, although this was not like a no DQ stipulation at one point. And these two did a great job of making you think, well, they did a great job of portraying hating each other. I don't know on what level they do get along, but the ref let a lot go. I thought that they did a great job of just being more violent than they usually are. At one point, Roman hung Punk up in a tree of woe facing the outside, whacked him in the head with the steel steps, and powerbombed him through a table. Reigns tried for a GTS, but he got countered. Punk ended up with an Ula Fala from, I believe, Carlos Ulberg, the UFC light heavyweight champion. For how long, I don't know. He's injured. He went for a spear, but Roman wrapped him in a guillotine choke. He could not get the win. Then they went back and forth. Punk threw some tape in Roman's face. The ref went to pick it up. He low-blowed Reigns, gave him a GTS, only got 2, went for another, but Reigns slipped out the back, hit a spear, and won the, I don't even know what belt it is, but he is now one of the champions in WWE at the top of the card. Roman Reigns back on top, throw up the ones, the OTC, the Tribal Chief, back as the head of the table. There's nothing announced for Raw tonight except for you're going to see Roman Reigns. So I'm hoping for a ton of surprises. I'm hoping Obafemi wins all the belts, and we'll be back for the rest of the week on Wrestling Observer Live.